This year is the last year of excuses. For 12 months, you will show up, not when you feel like it, not when inspiration hits. Every single day, you will do the smallest work that moves you forward. Consistency is not a personality trait, it's a decision. If nothing changes today, nothing will change next year. Decide now. No more starting. Start staying. Show up. Repeat. Transform. Chapter 1. Stop proving and start doing. Stop proving. Start doing. That sentence alone can change your year. Most people are busy proving they are capable. They polish, they pose, they explain, they announce. They rehearse their potential in public and call it progress. It is not progress. It is noise. Progress is quiet. Progress is ugly. Progress is repetitive. Progress does not ask for applause. Progress produces results. You have a choice. You can look capable, or you can become effective. That's the key. Proof is what you show. Progress is what you build. Proof is staged. Progress is lived. Proof gets likes. Progress gets leverage. Here's the hard truth. People who seek validation focus on small, polished moves because those moves feel safe. A mock-up, a concept, a plan, a preview. It feels productive. It feels impressive. It feels complete. But it doesn't move the needle. The work that changes your life does not look impressive in the beginning. It looks unfinished. It looks repetitive. It looks boring. And that's why most people avoid it. You don't need their permission. You don't need approval to begin. You don't need applause to continue. You need output. That's it. Let's make this real. There are two designers. The first designer posts finished mock-ups every week. Clean, polished, beautiful. Comments roll in. Amazing work. You're so talented. Months go by. Nothing ships. No one uses anything. No one pays. No feedback arrives. No lessons are learned. The designer is still proving. The second designer ships one small product every month. It's not perfect. Sometimes it's clumsy. Sometimes it breaks. Real users touch it. Real users complain. Real users pay. Data shows up. Lessons appear. Improvements follow. Momentum builds. The designer stops explaining and starts compounding. Ship the work. Learn from the work. Repeat the work. That's the difference. Proof wants to be seen. Progress wants to be felt. Proof is external. Progress is internal. Proof is about image. Progress is about impact. Say this clearly. It's not about talent. It's about discipline. It's not about being impressive. It's about being consistent. It's not about looking ready. It's about being useful. Most people wait until they feel confident. Confident enough to post. Confident enough to launch. Confident enough to be judged. Confidence never arrives first. Action does. Confidence is the receipt, not the entry ticket. You have a choice. Act first or wait forever. That's the key. Here's the rule you will live by if you want a different outcome. Do one meaningful thing every day that moves your work forward. One thing, not 10, not perfect, one thing that ships. Not work on the project, ship a piece of it. Finish a page, publish a draft, launch a version, make a call, send the proposal, close the loop. Closed loops create momentum. Open loops create anxiety. Practical instructions, no theory. Do this. Step 1. Define a deliverable. Something concrete, something measurable. If you can't point to it, it's not real. Step 2. Set a deadline that forces action. Same day if possible. Speed exposes truth. Delay hides fear. Step 3. Ship it, publicly or privately, but ship it. Step 4. Observe reality. What happened? What worked? What broke? What did users do, not say? Step 5. Adjust and repeat. Ship the work, learn from the work, repeat the work. This is not glamorous. That's why it works. Now let's kill the common lies. Lie 1. It has to be perfect. No. Perfection is procrastination in a tuxedo. Perfect delays learning. Perfect delays revenue. Perfect delays growth. You don't need perfect. You need feedback. Lie 2. People will judge me. They already are, and they will forget in 5 minutes. Results last longer than opinions. Lie 3. I need approval. You don't need their permission. Permission is a trap. Builders move without it. Every time you feel the urge to explain instead of execute, pause. Ask yourself one question. What can I ship today? Then do that. Identity shift matters here. Stop calling yourself someone who is working on something. Start calling yourself someone who ships. Identity follows behavior. Act like a shipper. Ship daily. The identity will catch up. Use repetition to rewire your default. Stop proving. Start doing. Stop proving. Start doing. Stop proving. Start doing. Say it until it becomes automatic. Now let's talk about visibility. Visibility without value is empty. Value without visibility eventually finds its audience. Focus on value first. Visibility will follow. The quiet builder always wins long term. The loud performer burns out. Attention is rented. Results are owned. Here is your 7-day challenge. Simple, non-negotiable. Day 1. Ship something small. Mark it done. Day 2. Get one piece of real feedback. Write it down. Day 3. Improve one thing based on that feedback. Ship again. Day 4. Ship a new small deliverable. Day 5. Track one metric that matters. Day 6. Share the process, not the polish. Day 7. Review the week. Count outputs. Count lessons. Ignore feelings. You will notice something. Momentum does not come from motivation. It comes from motion. Motion creates clarity. Clarity creates confidence. Confidence creates speed. That's the loop. You have a choice every morning. Prove or progress. That's the key. This chapter is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters. Less talking, less staging, less explaining, more shipping, more learning, more repetition. Stop proving you're capable. Start building proof that you were effective. This is how the year you finally showed up begins, not with a big announcement, with a small action, repeated. You stopped proving. You started doing. You learned to ship without permission. Now comes the real test. Doing it when it feels good is easy. Doing it when you're exhausted is what separates amateurs from professionals. You mastered the decision to act. Now let's talk about endurance.
Chapter 2. Show up when you're tired. You have a choice. You can wait for energy, or you can create energy with action. That's the key. Discipline is showing up when your body says later. Discipline is showing up when your brain invents reasons to stop. Discipline is a built habit. Habits are built in the friction. The friction is the point of power. Listen, talent trains when it feels good. Professionals train when it hurts. The amateur waits for mood. The pro builds a system. You have a choice between mood-driven work and rule-driven work. That's the key. Think of an athlete, not the star highlight reel, the real athlete, the one who shows up at dawn, the one who trains after a long shift, the one who practices the same drill when the legs are heavy. Those reps win seasons. Those reps win contracts. Those reps win championships. Even tired, still show up. It's not dramatic. It's not sexy. It is repeatable. It is unstoppable when repeated long enough. That's the compound effect. Small actions repeated under fatigue accumulate into unshakable skill.
Here's the truth you must accept. Motivation is unreliable. Motivation is a weather pattern. Discipline is the umbrella. You can't control the weather. You can control whether you carry the umbrella. It's not about talent, it's about discipline. You don't need their permission to act. You don't need an inspirational speech. You need a ritual that runs without mood. That's how the work survives life. Now the mechanics, real instructions, do them today. Create a show-up ritual. Short, concrete, non-negotiable. It is the single thing you do even when you hate everything. For writers, write 1 paragraph. For athletes, do 10 minutes of drills. For entrepreneurs, make 1 sales call. Set the bar low. Keep the threshold tiny. 2 minutes sometimes. Tiny removes resistance. Tiny builds signal. Tiny leads to more. Anchor the ritual to an existing habit. After your coffee, after brushing your teeth, after finishing dinner. Habit stacking is heat-seeking for consistency. Your brain already has a pattern. Attach a new action to that pattern. The new action will hitch a ride. Use time blocking for fatigue windows. Schedule the work when you are predictably tired, not when you feel explosive. Train the tired state. If you practice only when rested, you will break under real pressure. Practice under strain. Practice in the small stresses. That's where the muscle actually grows. Count the reps, track the reps, trust the reps. Do the reps, count the reps, trust the reps. A journal changes your brain. Numbers beat feelings. If you did 20 minutes while tired, record it. 1 line. Done. Momentum feeds on proof. Build a recovery plan that's non-negotiable. Showing up when tired is not reckless, it's smart, but you must schedule recovery. Sleep, nutrition, walks, short breaks. Recovery prevents burnout. Discipline includes rest. You have a choice every time the alarm rings. Do nothing or do the minimum. Do the minimum and the rest often follows. That is the psychology of motion. Motion creates motivation. Motion creates clarity. Motion creates speed. Repeat the lines. Make them a hammer. Even tired, still show up. Even tired, still show up. Do the reps. Count the reps. Trust the reps. Do the reps. Count the reps. Trust the reps. Now the real test, social life and excuses. Excuse, I'm exhausted. Answer, do the ritual. If after 5 minutes you must stop, stop. But you started. Starting breaks the spell. Starting flips the brain from avoidance to action. You will be surprised at how often 5 minutes becomes 20. That conversion is where growth hides. Excuse, I'll rest first, then do the work. Answer, rest rarely becomes action. Rest becomes permission to delay. Do the work first, then rest with clean conscience. Excuse, I need a better plan. Answer, a plan is worthless without practice. Plans create hope. Practice creates results. Practice under strain. Show up tired and the plan will sharpen. Real-world example that should be copied. A tennis player has a match at noon. The evening before, the player sleeps late. The player wakes groggy. The opponent looks rested. The player chooses the ritual. 10 minutes serve repetition before warm-up. The player shows up. Serves are better. Confidence rises. Match control follows. The tiredness did not vanish, but the ritual created an edge. The edge wins points. The edge wins matches. Another example, a small business owner. Long night with invoices, wakes drained. Instead of waiting for the right mood, the owner makes 1 sales outreach at 8 a.m., 1 call, 1 email, 2 follow-ups. The day opens, conversations grow, the week turns. That one action under fatigue protected progress. These examples are simple. Simple is effective. You need habits that are immune to mood. Build them. Reinforce them with repetition. Celebrate the smallest win. The mind needs proof. The body needs movement. The calendar needs entries. The ledger needs numbers. Behavioral checklist for the next 14 days. Follow without debate. Day 1 to 3. Do the anchor ritual at least 5 days, 2 minutes minimum. Record each occurrence. Day 4 to 7. Increase the ritual by 1 increment, 10 minutes, 1 extra rep. Ship the increment. Day 8 to 14. Practice a full session in a low-energy window. Track 1 performance metric. Note the difference. Failures will come. You will miss days. That is normal. What matters is the return. You return faster each time. Guard the streaks you value. Let small lapses exist without derailing the identity you've built. I am the person who shows up. Again, you have a choice. You can show up only when conditions are perfect, or you can show up when conditions are imperfect. That's the split between amateur and pro. That's the key. This chapter is not about punishing yourself with more work. It's about designing a life that normalizes showing up under strain. It's about creating a system that keeps you moving when feelings would have stopped you. It's not about motivation, it's about discipline. You don't need their permission to start. You have a choice. Choose to act. You built the habit of acting when you're eager. Now you must build the habit of acting when you are empty. The compound effect of that habit will change your trajectory. You mastered showing up through choice. Next, we will master a quieter power, making the mundane your advantage.
Chapter 3. Make boring your superpower. Boring builds brilliance. Say it out loud. Boring builds brilliance. You have a choice. You can chase fireworks, or you can build steady heat. That's the key. Grand gestures feel good. They create headlines. They drain energy. They do not compound. Boring work feels small. It annoys you. It stacks up. Over time, it becomes massive. One more day, one more day, one more day. Listen, the writer who writes 300 words daily for 3 years is a different person. Not famous at first, not flashy at first, but after 3 years, she has polished craft. She has completed projects. She has finished books. The novelist who writes 3,000 words once and quits has a moment, then nothing. Volume wins. Repetition wins. Boring wins. You don't need their permission. You don't need validation for your small daily acts. You do not need applause for a single paragraph, a single cold call, a single practice set. You need the habit. The habit does not ask for permission. The habit demands repetition. Here's the reality. People want transformation fast. They want a shortcut. They buy programs. They wait for the perfect system. They search for hacks. Hacks give short spikes. Systems deliver long climbs. It's not about cleverness. It's not about luck. It's not about the flash. It's about discipline. It's not about talent. It's about consistency. Break the myth of dramatic progress. Most breakthroughs are hidden. They are the result of thousands of small, boring actions. A musician's fingers pressing the same scale, an entrepreneur's daily outreach, a coder's tiny refactor every day. These tiny acts compound into skill, reputation, and results. Boring builds brilliance. Now, practical rules. No fluff. Do these. Choose your boring action. Pick one concrete, repeatable behavior. 300 words, 1 sales email, 10 push-ups, 1 sketch. Keep it small enough that it's impossible to invent an excuse. If the action is optional, it will be skipped. Make it mandatory. Make it measurable. Words, calls, minutes, reps. Numbers beat feelings. Write is vague. Write 300 words is measurable. Track it. A daily ledger rewires the brain. The ledger says you did the work even when you doubt it.
Anchor it to time and place. Same time, same place. Habit stacking wins. After coffee, after lunch, before bed. Your environment becomes a trigger. The trigger removes decision. Fewer decisions mean fewer failures. Reduce friction ruthlessly. Prepare the tools tonight. Open the document, charge the phone, set the timer. If you need a piano, have the bench ready. If you need a sketchbook, keep it on the desk. Friction is permission to quit. Embrace monotony as a friend. When your brain screams for novelty, smile. The scream is the test. You pass the test by continuing. On the other side of monotony is mastery. Repeat the lines. Use them as a mantra. Boring builds brilliance. Boring builds brilliance. One more day. One more day. One more day. You have a choice. You don't need their permission. Psychology matters. The brain craves reward. Small wins provide immediate reward without drama. Ritualize the reward. A check mark, a tally, a short note, 300 words done. These micro-ceremonies light dopamine without derailing focus. They keep you honest. Real-world example to copy. A podcast creator wants 5 episodes in a season. She commits to 1 short episode every week for 12 weeks. No long scripts, no cinematic edits, just consistent value. Listeners grow slowly. The algorithm notices. Sponsors reach out. The creator had no viral launch. She had a consistent output. Boring built her credibility. Another example, the freelance designer. He does 1 small client task every day, not to impress, to deliver. He builds a library of completed work. Month after month, that library turns into referrals. 1 project becomes many. 1 small deliverable becomes a portfolio that pays. This is how momentum accumulates. Small units of work repeated produce unstoppable force. The math is simple. Frequency beats intensity. Frequency multiplies. Intensity fades. Common objections dismantled. Objection: I'll get bored. Truth: boredom is a sign you are maturing. Boredom is the point where many quit. Choose to stay. That's how you grow. Objection: this isn't creative. Truth: creativity fails without craft. Craft is daily. Creativity rides on craft. Boring work fuels creative freedom. Objection: I need bigger chunks. Truth: bigger chunks are for cleanup. The body of work is built from small chunks. Do the tiny work first. The big chunks will find their place. Behavioral plan for the next 30 days. Follow it. No debate. Week 1. Define the boring action. Commit publicly to it. 1 line on social or a trusted friend. Accountability increases follow-through. Week 2. Record every occurrence. Same time, same place. Count totals. Week 3. Increase by a tiny increment. If you wrote 300 words, write 350. If you made 5 calls, make 6. Tiny escalation is sustainable. Week 4. Review. What improved? What did you avoid? What felt different? Repeat the cycle. Make a simple tracker. Column for date, column for action, column for 1 lesson. That's all. 1 page, 1 glance, 1 proof pile. Language is power. Speak differently about your work. Stop saying, I'm trying. Start saying, I practice. Identity shifts when language changes. You have a choice. Say it at the start of your session. 1 more day. Say it when the work feels pointless. Repeat the phrases until they become automatic. Your default must become persistence. This chapter is not a lecture. It is a prescription. Boring actions create extraordinary results. The world rewards the person who shows up daily. Loud declarations do not pay bills. Quiet competence does. You don't need their permission to be consistent. You do need a plan. Design the plan. Do the tiny, boring thing. Repeat it. Track it. Escalate it slowly. That is the architecture of transformation. You have chosen the steady path. You chose discipline over drama.
You chose repetition over spectacle. You chose to make boring your superpower. Now hold that discipline and use it under strain. The next chapter will give you the mechanism to make action independent of mood. You mastered the quiet, repetitive work. Now let's lock it into a system that runs without feelings.
Chapter 4. Rituals, not motivation. Motivation is a spark. Ritual is the wiring. Motivation is loud and unreliable. Ritual is quiet and relentless. You have a choice. Rely on mood or build a system. That's the key. People wait for motivation. They wait for inspiration. They wait for clarity. They swipe feeds, they rehearse their start, then the day is gone. That is the pattern of people who wish. Rituals are what people who win do. Rituals remove permission. Rituals remove debate. Rituals force action. Listen closely. A CEO who plans 20 minutes every morning does more than plan. She primes decisions. She narrows options. She makes fewer mistakes. A CEO who waits for clarity chases a feeling. She loses hours. The business suffers. The contrast is simple. Ritual first, outcome later. You don't need their permission to make a ritual. You don't need motivation to follow it. You need a rule. Rules are simple. Rules remove choice. When choice is removed, actions follow. When actions follow, results accumulate. Here is the core phrase you will repeat. Use it like a metronome. Do the ritual, skip the motivation. Do the ritual, skip the motivation. Ritual first, outcome later. Ritual first, outcome later. Now the mechanics. How to build a ritual that actually works. Step 1. Pick one anchor. An anchor is an existing habit. It can be a cup of coffee. It can be brushing your teeth. It can be the first login to your workstation. Attach the ritual to that anchor. The brain loves patterns. Hitch the new action to a reliable trigger. Step 2. Make it tiny and non-negotiable. Rituals survive because they are small. 10 minutes, 5 minutes, a single page. The threshold must be tiny enough that you cannot rationalize skipping it. If it is optional, it will be skipped. Mandatory wins. Step 3. Script the sequence. A ritual is a fixed set of steps, not vague intentions, not work on X. A fixed set of steps. Open document, 2-minute review, write 300 words, close and save, stop. Rituals are short checklists executed on autopilot. Step 4. Give it a finish line. A ritual must end. Not work until inspiration. That invites chaos. Close the loop. Done is a signal to the brain. Done creates satisfaction. Done reduces friction for the next ritual. Step 5. Protect the ritual with a boundary. No messages, no social media, no meetings during the ritual. Boundaries are the ritual's bodyguards. Protect the time like a meeting with the most important person you know, you. This is not spiritual fluff. This is applied psychology. Rituals hack the decision fatigue problem. Rituals conserve willpower. Rituals produce consistency. Repeat the practical phrases. They are your spine. You have a choice. You have a choice. You don't need their permission. You don't need their permission. Now, let's dismantle common objections. Objection: I can't be rigid. Answer: rituals are flexible in content, rigid in form. The content adapts, the form repeats. That is freedom inside a framework. You will be more creative when your baseline is stable. Objection: I'll run out of ideas. Answer: creativity needs constraints. Rituals provide the constraints that force creativity. When you know the container, the work improves. Objection: rituals are boring. Answer: boredom is not the enemy. Boredom is the proving ground.
On the other side of boring is mastery. Boredom builds brilliance. Behavioral instructions, concrete, actionable. Do these this week. Day 1. Design a ritual. Anchor it. Script 5 steps. Time it. Keep it under 15 minutes. Day 2. Execute the ritual every morning at the anchored moment. Record "done" in a notebook. 1 line. Proof matters. Day 3 to 7. Keep executing. No gaps. If you miss, restart immediately. Shame is distraction. Restart is discipline. Week 2. Add a tiny escalation. 2 more minutes, 1 extra paragraph, 1 extra rep. Keep it sustainable. Week 3. Evaluate. Did the ritual change your output? Did it reduce hesitation? Keep what works, tweak what doesn't. Here are the ritual templates you can steal. Writer's ritual. Make tea. 2. Open document. 3. Read the last 50 words. 4. Write 300 new words. 5. Save and close. Entrepreneur's ritual. Check 1 revenue metric. Send 1 outreach email. Review 1 customer message. Log 1 lesson. Close. Athlete's ritual. Warm up 5 minutes. 2. Do 3 technique drills. 3. Sprint 2 sets. 4. Cool down. 5. Note 1 improvement. The templates are not sacred, they are scaffolds. Use them until you can build your own. Language again. Say this to yourself before you begin. It's not about inspiration, it's about ritual. It's not about excuses, it's about discipline. It's not about feeling ready, it's about showing up. That last line must be nailed to your skull. It is the hinge of your future. Now the enforcement system. Rituals need accountability. Add simple checks. A daily log, 1 line. Date, ritual executed, 1 lesson. A weekly review, 5 minutes. Count rituals, count output, adjust. An accountability partner, 1 message per day, 1 sentence, ritual done. That small message raises the cost of skipping. You have a choice about accountability. You can hide or you can expose. Exposure creates pressure in a useful direction. That's the key. Rituals scale better than motivation. Motivation spikes. Rituals compound. Tiny, repeated rituals accumulate into habits that last. Habits become identity. Identity becomes destiny. This is the discipline you will carry forward. This is how you turn intention into mechanism. This is how you move when moods fail you. Keep the phrases alive. Do the ritual, skip the motivation. Do the ritual, skip the motivation. Ritual first, outcome later. Ritual first, outcome later. You have designed the system. Now protect it, guard it, respect it, reward it. This chapter is not about removing humanity from your work. It is about designing human-friendly automation. It's not about heroics, it's about architecture. It's not about inspiration, it's about instruction. It's not about luck, it's about routine. You built the machine that wins when feelings fail. You made a path that runs without mood. You stopped relying on sparks. You mastered ritual. Now you will master a different, noisier skill, making mistakes fast and using them as fuel. You learned how to force action. Next, we will learn how to move fast and be embarrassed faster.
Chapter 5. Learn fast, embarrass faster. Ship ugly, fix fast, ship again. Say it, mean it, do it. Perfection is a silent killer. It postpones outcomes. It delays feedback. It creates a coffin for good ideas. Perfection looks safe. Perfection feels noble. Perfection is a lie that masks fear. You have a choice. Keep polishing in private or launch in public and learn. That's the key. Embarrassment is not punishment. Embarrassment is raw data.
Embarrassment highlights assumptions that were never tested. Embarrassment tells you where the truth lives. Embarrassment speeds learning. Embarrass, learn, grow. Listen clearly. The builder who ships a flawed beta wins over the perfectionist who polishes in isolation. The beta gets touch. The beta gets complaints. The beta gets praise. The builder sees what matters. The perfectionist only sees praise for promise. Which one builds a real product? Which one makes real money? You have a choice. You don't need their permission to be imperfect. You don't need approval to be visible. You don't need applause to iterate. You need speed. Speed creates options. Options create leverage. That is the raw advantage of learning fast. This chapter is tactical, no abstract platitudes. You will get a step-by-step map to embarrass faster and convert shame into output. Core line to repeat until it becomes muscle. Ship ugly, fix fast, ship again. Embarrass, learn, grow. You have a choice. It's not about perfection, it's about speed. You don't need their permission. Why embarrassment is an asset. Proof beats promise. A messy product with users is worth more than a perfect mock-up with no users. Proof exposes truth. Truth lets you improve. Public feedback scales. One awkward post yields dozens of replies. You learn more in a week than you would in a month of solitary polishing. Momentum beats polish. Velocity attracts attention, resources, and collaborators in a way stillness never will. Mechanics, how to ship ugly without self-destroying. Step 1. Define the minimum viable test. Pick the smallest thing that will test the core assumption of your idea. One feature, one headline, one call to action. If it fails, you will learn. If it succeeds, you scale. Keep the test narrow. Step 2. Set a tight deadline. A deadline forces decisions. A deadline forces compromise. 2 days, 1 week, no more than a month. Short deadlines create speed, and speed beats compromise. Step 3. Publish publicly. Post it, send it, launch it. Don't wait for a perfect landing page, perfect copy, perfect graphic. Get the thing in front of people. Visibility produces truth. Step 4. Collect structured feedback. Ask specific questions. Don't invite vague praise. What broke? What did you try to do? What would make this usable for you? Use surveys. Use 3 direct user interviews. Use one metric that matters. Step 5. Make one fix, ship again. Don't rewrite everything. Fix the one thing that will move the metric. Repeat the loop. Fast fixes compound. Step 6. Log the embarrassment as a lesson. Write one sentence. Launched X, learned Y, next step Z. The sentence converts shame into strategy. Real-world examples to model. Example 1. The product manager. She released a beta feature that crashed on mobile. Users complained. She logged the bug. She fixed the top 2 errors in 3 days. Retention rose. The beta proved the concept. The crash was an embarrassingly useful data point. She learned faster than anyone on her team. Example 2. The creator. They posted a rough short video without fancy editing. Views were low at first. Comments were direct. More examples, shorter. They adjusted format, republished, and saw views double. The clip that was almost abandoned became the template for the next series. Example 3. The consultant. He sent a basic outreach email. Response rate was low. He asked a respondent what they wanted. He adjusted the offer. 2 weeks later, he closed a client. The embarrassment of rejection created the learning that closed revenue. Practical tools to remove the fear. Pre-mortem checklist. List every way it could fail. Accept those failures. Decide you will act anyway. Public micro-test. Post a screenshot, a mock-up,
a sample chapter, or a minimum offering. Track reactions. Reframe shame. Replace "I'm embarrassed" with "I'm testing." Testing is noble. Testing is business. Testing is growth. Behavioral plan. 21 days to embarrassment mastery. Week 1. Launch one micro-test. Days 1 through 3, define the test and deadline. Day 4, publish. Days 5 through 7, gather feedback. Week 2. Iterate rapidly. Take the top 2 lessons, implement them. Ship a revision within 3 days. Log the change, watch the metric. Week 3. Scale the loop. Run 3 micro-tests in parallel. Compare results. Pull the winning pattern. Double down on what worked. Measurement. What to track. 1 primary metric. Conversions, opens, replies, retention. Pick one, track it daily. 1 qualitative note per launch. 1 sentence that captures the strongest user insight. 1 speed metric. Time from publish to first revision. Aim for less than 72 hours. Common blocks and how to crush them. Block. What if I look foolish? Response. Foolishness is temporary. Learning is permanent. The audience forgets. Your skills remember. Block. I can't handle negative comments. Response. Separate signal from noise. Use structured questions. Ignore trolls. Prioritize users. Block. I don't know where to start. Response. Start with the tiniest test. 1 headline, 1 paragraph, 1 screenshot. Launch it. Culture shift. Embrace a learning mindset. Make public failure an organizational ritual. Celebrate the learning. Record the lesson. Reward speed over polish. Teach teams to respond within 48 hours to real feedback. Normalize the ugly test. Demystify the flawless launch. Mantras. Use them often. Ship ugly, fix fast, ship again. Embarrass, learn, grow. You have a choice. It's not about perfection, it's about speed. You don't need their permission. Final behavior checklist. Next 14 days. Day 1. Define microtest. Deadline set, metric selected. Day 2. Build the smallest thing that could work. Day 3. Publish. Log the launch. Days 4 through 6. Collect 3 pieces of structured feedback. Day 7. Implement 1 fix. Ship again. Week 2. Repeat 2 more microtests. Track improvements. Week 3. Review wins. Decide which test to scale. You have a choice. Hide behind polish or move in public and learn. That's the key. This chapter is about speed. It is about humility. It is about turning embarrassment into an engine. It is about converting shame into intelligence. Perfection delays learning. Speed accelerates it. You learn to ship ugly. You learn to treat embarrassment as fuel. You learn to iterate with urgency. Now guard the hours where you do that work. Protect the focus windows that let you iterate fast without interruptions. You practiced moving fast. Next, we will cut the distractions so your speed actually matters.
Chapter 6. Cut the noise. Guard your hours. Guard the hours. Guard the hours. This line is a command. Treat it like one. Attention is the currency. Distraction is the tax. You have a choice. You can let your attention be stolen, or you can protect it. That's the key. The world trains you to be busy. Email, Slack, meetings, notifications. Busy is applause. Busy feels important. Busy is the default of the distracted. It is not progress. It is noise. Deep work wins. Deep work creates breakthroughs. Deep work multiplies value. Shallow actions create exhaustion and little output. It's not about busyness, it's about focus. It's not about multitasking, it's about single-tasking discipline. Listen to this truth. The person who protects 3 uninterrupted hours every day will produce more than the person who fires off tasks all day. The hours you protect compound like interest. Guard them like money. Treat them like the most valuable meeting on your calendar because they are. Concrete rules, no fluff. Implement these now. Block sacred time. Decide 2 daily blocks, 90 minutes each if possible. Put them on your calendar labeled deep work, do not schedule. Repeat every weekday. If you cannot do 90, do 60. If you cannot do 60, do 30. Start small, expand quickly. Guard those blocks, no exceptions. Create a pre-sprint ritual. 5 minutes of preparation. Close unrelated tabs, turn phone face down or in another room. Open the exact document or tool you need. Clear one obvious distraction. Start with a single sentence. I will focus for X minutes. The ritual signals the brain to switch modes. Use single task lists. 1 primary task per sprint. Write it as a sentence. Draft Chapter 3. Refactor login flow. Record 3 podcast segments. 1 task, no multitasking. Finish it or move it forward substantially. Remove notification permission. Turn off email, Slack, social notifications during sprints. Set an autoresponder for deep work hours. Automate replies that say when you'll return messages. You don't need their permission to be unavailable. Boundaries are not rude, they are necessary. Batch shallow work. Schedule 1 or 2 shallow blocks for email and messages. Batch similar tasks together. Do not let shallow work colonize deep time. Shallow is necessary, but it does not create breakthroughs. Guard the deep. Guard the hours. Protect physical and digital environment. Clean desk, headphones on, 1 browser window with only necessary tabs. If possible, use a site blocker. Reduce friction for focus. Friction invites distraction. Remove friction for deep work. Measure output, not hours. Track what you complete in each session. Pages, problem solved, code pushed, scenes drafted. A sprint without measurable output is only self-deception. Numbers beat feelings. Real-world examples you must copy. Programmer. He scheduled 90-minute undisturbed sprints. He turned off email and phone. He shipped a new feature every week. Output doubled. Bugs dropped. He finished months of backlog in weeks. Writer. She blocked mornings for 3 hours of uninterrupted draft work. No email, no DMs. In 1 month, she completed an entire book outline. Her drafts flowed. Her edits were surgical. The rhythm produced results. CEO. She eliminated standing internal update meetings. She replaced them with a weekly written update and 2 90-minute strategic sessions. Decisions happened faster. Execution sped up. The company moved. Behavioral plan. Follow this for the next 21 days. Week 1. Reclaim time. Day 1. Audit your calendar. Mark every meeting and task for what it really is, deep or shallow. Find 2 hours to protect. Create those blocks. Announce them to your team. Set an autoresponder. Day 2 through 7. Execute the pre-sprint ritual each time. 1 primary task. Record 1 metric after each sprint. 1 line in a journal. Sprint done. Output X. Week 2. Harden the discipline. Increase 1 sprint to 90 minutes if you started shorter. Reduce shallow windows. Batch meetings into 2 contiguous blocks. Remove recurring low-value meetings. Delegate ruthlessly. Track session outputs. Week 3. Scale and measure. Aim for 8 to 12 hours protected per week. Evaluate output improvements. Compare Week 1 metrics to Week 3. If output improved, keep the schedule. If not, tighten the rules. Metrics don't lie. How to handle must-be-available roles. Set office hours. Provide a 60 to 90-minute window where you will respond to urgent matters. Outside that, you're in deep work. Use a clear status message. Teach your team the new rhythm. You don't need their permission to optimize your concentration. That's the point. Common objections crushed. I can't find long blocks. Wrong. You can. Audit and steal. Cancel one low-value recurring meeting. Say no. Say it now. Keep at least one 90-minute sprint. You will earn back more time by completing meaningful work faster. I get distracted easily. Train distraction like a muscle. Start with 30 minutes. Build to 90. Use a timer. Use a sight blocker. Use headphones. Repeat the ritual. Habit compounds. It's selfish to shut down. Not true. Guarding deep hours makes you far more valuable to everyone depending on you. High-value work benefits the team. Low-value busyness benefits no one. Tools and tactics that work. Use a visible calendar with color-coded deep blocks. Make them public. Social cost enforces protection. Use a focus app or website blocker. Keep it simple, no gimmicks. Keep a distraction capture notebook. If a thought intrudes, jot it down. Return to it after the sprint. Use the 2-minute rule for urgent shallow tasks during sprints only if it actually takes 2 minutes. Otherwise, defer. Mantras to repeat before each sprint. Guard the hours. Guard the hours. Deep work wins. You have a choice. You can be a slave to notifications, or you can be the master of your schedule. That's the key. You protected blocks, you learned rituals, you created proof. Now convert those protected hours into measurable micro-progress. Next, we will count the wins and turn momentum into numbers.
Chapter 7. Small Wins, Massive Accounting. Count it, record it, celebrate it. Say that 3 times. Say it until your hands act without your head. You have a choice. You can float on feelings and hope, or you can measure what matters and force progress. That's the key. Most people track drama. They track how busy they are. They track hours logged and notifications received. That's vanity. That's noise. Results do not live in busyness. Results live in tiny, repeatable wins tracked over time. Micro wins, macro results. This chapter is simple and brutal. Numbers remove excuses. Numbers quiet the mind. Numbers reveal truth. You must treat progress like an accountant. Not glamorous, extremely effective. Here's the core rule. For every action that matters, choose one metric, one number. Then count it, record it, celebrate it. Count it, record it, celebrate it. Why this works? Because human brains want reward. They crave proof. They respond to visible progress. Small wins provide immediate reward. They compound into momentum. Momentum wins over motivation every single time. Real example, the sales rep. The rep who tracks daily calls and micro-conversions wins. He counts calls, he logs responses, he tracks which script produced interest, he celebrates the small close. The month looks bigger only because the week after week micro-wins added up. The rep who only looks at monthly revenue is reactive. He panics, he chases numbers, he misses patterns. Micro wins, macro results. Real example, the writer. The writer tracks words per day, 300 words a day, no drama, no excuses. Each day recorded. After a month, the file grows. After 6 months, a book exists. The writer who waits for inspiration writes sporadically and remains a hopeful thinker. The writer who counts words and logs lessons turns those words into a product. Real example, the developer. She tracks tickets closed per sprint. She tracks the number of deploys that improved performance. She tracks bugs fixed. Each small fix reduces friction for users. Each small fix increases trust. Metrics stack into user retention. That retention becomes reputation. That reputation becomes leverage. You don't need their permission to measure your work. You don't need validation from anyone to keep a ledger. You need integrity with yourself. That is all. It's not about drama, it's about discipline. It's not about grand gestures, it's about daily entries. It's not about looking productive, it's about being verifiably productive. Now the mechanics. How to build massive accounting without turning into an obsessive spreadsheet nerd. Practical steps. Do them today. Choose your one sacred metric per project. If you are selling, it might be calls made, demos booked, or conversion rate. If you write, it is words or pages. If you build, it is features shipped or bugs closed. One metric, not 5. One keeps focus. Make the metric visible. Use a simple tracker, a paper notebook, a Google Sheet, a wall calendar, something you see every day. Visibility creates pressure. Pressure produces action. Immediately log it. Right after the action, write it down. Do not wait. Delays allow rationalization. Immediate logging converts motion into evidence. Scale micro wins into weekly and monthly totals. Sum the daily numbers, chart them. A line that moves up is proof of progress. A flat line is a warning. React to the warning fast. Celebrate intentionally. A single sentence. Today, 300 words. Today, 8 calls. Add a small reward, a coffee, a 5-minute break. Celebration cements the habit. Count it, record it, celebrate it. Use ratios for clarity. Counts alone can lie. Use a ratio that matters. Calls to meetings, words to pages, deploys to bugs closed. Ratios reveal efficiency. They reveal improvement. Keep a lessons column. Each entry includes one short note, what worked, what failed, one idea to try next. That turns raw numbers into strategic improvement. Systems that scale. Weekly review ritual. One meeting with yourself, 15 minutes. Review totals, spot trends, decide one tweak for the following week. Monthly accounting session, 30 minutes. Export data, visualize progress, make a directional decision. Quarterly reflection, 1 hour. Decide whether to double down or pivot. Use the data, not feelings. Behavioral plan the next 30 days, no fluff. Week 1, deploy the tracker. Pick one project and one metric. Log every action for 7 days, no skipping. Week 2, perform a weekly review. Identify one pattern, implement one tweak. Week 3, increase accountability. Share the weekly total with one person. Public proof raises the cost of skipping. Week 4, evaluate and scale. Did numbers improve? Repeat what worked. If not, change the approach. Common objections dismantled. I'm not a numbers person. Then become a small numbers person. One column, one line, one number per day. That's manageable. That's all you need. Tracking feels like busy work. You are already doing the work. Tracking changes it from wasted motion to compoundable progress. That's the difference between noise and asset. I'll feel pressured. Good. Pressure creates performance. Friendly pressure beats vague guilt. Tools you can steal. A simple 2-column notebook, date, metric, one-line lesson. A Google Sheet with daily rows and a weekly sum. Use one formula, that's enough. A habit tracker app for painless check marks. Use it for initial momentum. Language shifts that matter. Stop saying, I tried. Start saying, I did X today. Replace vagueness with proof. Say the number. Speak truth. The truth forces movement. Repeat these mantras often. You have a choice. You have a choice. Count it, record it, celebrate it. Micro wins, macro results. You don't need their permission. Measurement changes psychology. It turns hope into evidence. Evidence compels replication. Replication builds skill. Skill builds outcomes. Outcomes build options. Options change lives. A final behavioral challenge. Do this right now. Open a notebook, Write today's date. Write one metric you will track for the next 30 days. Under it, write the exact action that produces 1 unit of that metric. Commit publicly by sending a one-line message to one person. Tracking X for 30 days. Day 1 done. That small move anchors accountability. This chapter is about converting effort into measurable progress. It is about turning vague hustle into a verifiable ledger. It is about making your work undeniable. You counted, you recorded, you celebrated. You learned to build momentum from daily proof. You created a language of results. Now hold that ledger tight as you step into the opposite danger, inconsistency. Small wins decay quickly when habits lapse. Next, we will examine the hidden damage of stopping and starting. You proved you can create micro wins. Now, let's understand what inconsistency steals from you.
Chapter 8. The Silent Cost of Inconsistency. Inconsistency steals. Inconsistency steals. Inconsistency steals. Say it until it feels like a physical warning, because it is a warning. The cost of starting and stopping is stealthy. It corrodes everything that could be built. That is the truth. You have a choice. You can wobble between bursts and breaks, or you can build a continuous line of effort. That's the key. Listen, 1 missed day is a habit nudge. 2 missed days become a pattern. 3 missed days make an identity. I try. That identity eats future possibility. The problem is not 1 bad day. The problem is the erosion of compound advantage. Protect the streak. Protect the future. This chapter is about what you lose when consistency is absent, not the headline losses, the hidden losses, the silent taxes. We will name them and then give you practical rules to stop the theft. The hidden damages. Lost skill. Skills decay fast when not practiced. The musician who skips daily scales loses nuance. The writer who skips daily sentences loses rhythm. Skill is like muscle. It needs tension. Missed reps are lost progress. It's not about talent, it's about discipline. Lost trust. Others notice gaps. Clients, partners, your team. Consistency builds credibility. Inconsistency creates doubt. Trust is earned by repetition. Missed commitments cost goodwill. That goodwill is currency. Guard it. Lost momentum. Momentum compounds. Small wins accelerate future wins. Start-stop behavior kills that acceleration. What could have been a climb becomes a stair. The stair takes longer and demands more energy. Lost opportunity. A delayed book, a postponed launch, a stalled product. Opportunities have windows. Inconsistency shrinks your windows. Timing matters. Momentum makes windows wider. You don't need their permission to keep going. You don't need a perfect feeling to maintain routine. The work asks for continuity, not consent. Why people fall into start-stop. Mood dependency. They wait for the mood to do the work. Mood is a weather system. It changes. Depend on it, and you will be stranded on high-variance days. Perfection traps. They wait for the right format, the perfect draft, the ideal tool. Perfection is a camouflage for fear. It delays action. Overwhelm. They try to change everything and burn out quickly. Overwhelm invites skipping. Simplicity keeps streaks alive. You have a choice. Choose smallness. Choose a micro-habit. That's the key. Practical rules. How to stop the theft. Rule 1. Lower the bar. Make the minimum so small it's ridiculous. 10 push-ups, 1 paragraph, 1 sales email. If it's too small to count as work, it's too small to skip. Tiny makes resistance manageable. Tiny protects streaks. Rule 2. Make the streak public and track it. Use a visible calendar, a habit app, or a paper wall calendar with big X's. Public proof raises the cost of skipping. The streak becomes social and tactile. Count it, record it, celebrate it. Micro wins, macro results. Rule 3. Design for restart, not perfection. You will miss days. Plan for it. Have a restart ritual, a 2-step re-entry, 1 tiny action, 1 short log entry. Restart fast. If you miss, do not moralize. Restart. Rule 4. Automate the environment. Leave tools ready. Set timers. Prepare the workspace the night before. Reduce decision points. Friction is the thief of streaks. Remove friction so the default is to continue. Rule 5. Anchor the habit. Tie the habit to an existing routine. After breakfast, before shower, after lunch. Habit stacking makes continuation automatic. Anchor it, and it will ride the gravity of routines. Rule 6. Protect the lowest value hours. Guard the days when you are most likely to bail. If evenings are weak, do the habit in the morning. If weekends are weak, move the work into weekdays. Know your sabotage windows and schedule around them. Measurement and accountability. Choose 1 primary metric, not 5, 1 number that proves the streak. Daily log. Date, action, 1-sentence lesson. Keep it under 10 words. Short logs reduce friction. Weekly review. 30 minutes. Count streak days. Note 1 pattern. Make 1 adjustment. If you want brutal effectiveness, add this. Public accountability. Send a 1-line daily message to 1 human. Day X, done. That small exposure increases follow-through dramatically. You don't need their permission to be accountable. Case studies. What streaks buy you? Musician. Daily scales for 30 minutes. After 6 months, dexterity and repertoire expand. Fans know this improvement. Gigs increase. Small daily reps turned into skill that attracted paying work. Sales rep. 20 calls per day for 90 days. Rejections are heavy, but the conversion rate improves. Relationships form. Closed deals accumulate. The rep who stayed consistent made more money from the same effort others spent in fits and starts. Author. 300 words every morning. After a year, a manuscript exists. The consistent writer has a product. The sporadic writer has drafts and unfinished hopes. Common objections and how to answer them. Objection. I'll get bored. Answer. Boredom is the litmus test for growth. Fight for the next day anyway. 1 more day beats giving up. 1 more day compounds. Objection. I travel and I can't keep it. Answer. Make contingency rules. If the routine breaks, have a travel micro-habit. 1 paragraph on a napkin. Quick adjustments keep the streak. Objection. I miss and I spiral. Answer. Create a restart ritual. Immediately do a tiny action. Log it. Do not shame. Shame breaks the loop. Restart rebuilds it. Mantras and repetitions. Rewire the habit. You have a choice. You have a choice. You have a choice. It's not about excuses. It's about discipline. Protect the streak. Protect the future. You don't need their permission. Behavioral plan. 42 days to bulletproof streaks. Phase 1. Days 1 to 7. Pick the smallest action. Do it daily. Mark it visibly. No misses allowed if possible. If a miss happens, restart immediately. Phase 2. Days 8 to 21. Add a tiny escalation every 7 days. 300 words to 350. 10 push-ups to 12. Keep increments marginal. Phase 3. Days 22 to 42. Add public accountability.
weekly review. If you sustain 30+ days, evaluate scaling the habit. If you missed often, analyze patterns and redesign environment. Final challenge, a single decision. Right now, declare one micro-habit you will protect for the next 42 days. Open a notebook, write the habit, date it, make a visible mark for day 1. Send one line to one person. I start today, day 1. That single act commits you in 3 domains: mind, calendar, social. It converts choice into action. This book is about showing up. Inconsistency steals that ability. Protect your time, protect your skill, protect your future. You kept the streak. You defended the ladder. You'll need that ladder for identity work next. You stopped letting inconsistency erode possibility. Now, let's convert repeated action into a new self.
Chapter 9. Rewire Identity Through Action. You have a choice. You can narrate who you want to be, or you can build who you are. That's the key. Identity is not a feeling. It is a series of repeated actions. Identity is proof stacked day after day. You do the deed, then the mind updates the story. Do the deed, become the identity. Act now, believe later. Most people wait for identity to arrive. They wait to feel like a leader, a writer, a runner. They wear the label as if it were a costume. It never fits. Identity does not arrive as a costume. Identity is grown. Identity is earned. You don't need their permission to start growing it. You need proof. Here is the central truth. Behavior precedes belief. You do work first. Then you believe you're a kind of person who does that work. That's the neuroscience. That's the psychology. That's the leverage. Repeat this line until it becomes a reflex. Do the deed, become the identity. Act now, believe later. You have a choice. You don't need their permission. It's not about talent, it's about discipline. Let me make this practical. No fluff, no jargon. Concrete steps you can execute today. Step 1. Define the identity statement. Write one sentence. I am a role. Make it specific and present tense. I am a runner. I am a writer. I am a person who launches weekly. Not I want to be. Not I will try. Present tense. Identity language is declarative. Say it, write it, post it where you can see it. Step 2. Pick one keystone habit. Identity forms fastest through one habit that signals the whole identity. Runners run. Writers write. Founders ship. Pick one habit that proves the sentence. Make it obvious, make it repeatable. Step 3. Start micro. Make it unskippable. Do the tiniest version of the habit. One paragraph, one lap, one cold outreach. Tiny defeats resistance. Tiny creates repetition. Repetition wires the brain. Identity wires follow. It's not about big moves. It's about daily proof. It's not about perfection. It's about discipline. Step 4. Ritualize the habit. Attach the micro-habit to an anchor. After breakfast, before work, after your commute. Script it. Make it automatic. A ritual removes decision. Decision fatigue kills identity building. Step 5. Track the proof. Count the reps. Record the days. Make the ledger public if possible. Evidence rewires belief faster than pep talks. A streak of X days is unarguable. Numbers beat feelings. Step 6. Speak the identity out loud. Language changes the brain. Say the sentence daily. Say it when you resist. Replace I try with I am. Identity follows speech. Belief follows action. Act now,
believe later. Social proof and accountability. Tell one person. Better, tell 3. Post day 1 publicly. The social cost of breaking a declared identity is powerful and useful. Accountability accelerates habit formation. Real-world examples you must copy. Runner. 3 runs per week for 6 months. At first, the runs are short. At first, they hurt. The label runner sticks after repeated runs. The internal language shifts from I try to I am. The runner signs up for a 5K. They cross the line and the identity cements. Do the deed, become the identity. Writer. 300 words every morning. No excuses. 1 paragraph becomes a page. Page becomes chapter. After months, the writer stops saying, I'm trying to write. They say, I write. Markets, agents, and readers respond to the work, not the promises. Entrepreneur. 1 outreach per day. 1 call. 1 prototype. After a quarter, the person who once worked on ideas is a person who launches. Investors and customers see the proof. Identity creates credibility. This is not magic, it is math. Small actions repeated equal identity. Identity attracts opportunities. Opportunities create resources. Resources compound results. Common traps and how to avoid them. Trap. If I fail at the big thing, I'll feel like a fraud. Answer. Start small. Micro habits generate wins. Wins create confidence. Confidence scales the risk you can take. Trap. I don't believe I can be that person. Answer. Belief follows behavior, not the other way around. Act before belief. That's how the brain updates. Trap. I'll wait until I'm ready. Answer. Readiness is a myth. Action creates readiness. You don't need their permission. Start now. Specific language to use when resistance arrives. When you want to stall, say to yourself, I will do 1 small thing right now. Then do it. Then log it. Then say the identity phrase. I am a role. Repeat it. Repeat the deed. Repeat the proof. Identity grows. Measurement and timeline. Be patient. Be ruthless. Week 1. Identity sentence posted. Microhabit executed every day. Ledger started. Weeks 2 to 4. Microhabit becomes automatic. Streak forms. Small wins accumulate. Month 2 to 3. Identity language feels less foreign. Peers notice. Opportunities appear. Month 6. The behavior is reflexive. The phrase I am feels true. Behavioral blueprint. 66-day identity program. Day 1. Write I am a role. Post it. Take 1 micro action. Log it. Say the identity phrase. I am a role. Repeat it. Repeat the deed. Repeat the proof. Identity grows. Use mantras. Use repetition. Use evidence. Do the deed. Become the identity. Act now. Believe later. You have a choice. You don't need their permission. It's not about excuses. It's about discipline. Objections you'll run into. Answered fast. I feel like an imposter. Good. That means you're changing. Imposter feeling is a symptom of transformation. Keep working. Keep logging. Imposter fades as evidence accumulates. I don't have time. You have time for what you prioritize. Identity is built in small windows. 10 minutes per day is enough to start. Protect the minutes like a meeting with your future self. I'm too old to change. Identity is agnostic to age. Neural pathways adapt through practice. Do the deed, the brain rewires. Final behavioral checklist. Do this now. Write your identity sentence, present tense.
One line. Pick one keystone micro-habit tied to that sentence. Do the tiny action today. Log it. Say the identity phrase out loud. Repeat daily. Track the streak. Share day one with someone. Restart fast if you miss. You have a choice. Continue telling the same story or change the story with proof. That's the key. You don't need permission to become who you want. You only need to be consistent with small actions. You rewired identity through action. You converted small deeds into new self-belief. Now hold that new identity steady and make it a lifestyle. You built the habits. Next, we make consistency non-stop.
Chapter 10. Consistency as a lifestyle, not a campaign. This is where most people fail. Not at the beginning, not in the middle, but right after the first win. They treat consistency like a campaign, a push, a season, a temporary sacrifice. And campaigns always end. You have a choice. You can run short bursts forever, or you can design a life that runs without force. That's the key. Campaigns rely on excitement. Lifestyles rely on systems. Campaigns burn energy. Lifestyles conserve energy. Campaigns collapse when motivation dips. Lifestyles survive boredom, success, and loss. Say this clearly and slowly. System beats sprint. Again, system beats sprint. If your consistency only exists when you are inspired, it will disappear when you are tired, and you will get tired. That is guaranteed. This chapter is about permanence, about building a way of operating that does not require hype, pressure, or constant self-talk. You don't need their permission to live this way. You need structure. Let's expose the core mistake. Most people ask, how do I stay consistent? The better question is, how do I make inconsistency inconvenient? That's the key. A lifestyle is designed, a campaign is forced. The campaign trap. Campaign thinking sounds like this. I'll grind for 30 days. I'll go all in this quarter. I'll sacrifice everything until I win. That thinking feels heroic. It also guarantees burnout. Why? Because it ignores reality. Life does not pause. People get sick. Emotions fluctuate. Success introduces new distractions. Loss drains energy. Campaigns cannot adapt. Systems can. You have a choice. Build something fragile that requires constant effort, or build something resilient that runs even when you don't feel strong. Real-world example. Look at two entrepreneurs. The first builds everything around personal effort. They answer every message, make every decision, solve every problem. They sprint hard, they grow fast, then they disappear. Vacation breaks the business. Illness breaks the business. Burnout collapses the system because there is no system. The second entrepreneur designs processes, weekly reviews, standard operating procedures, fixed work blocks, delegation, automation. The business runs when they are present and when they are not. Growth is slower at first, then it becomes inevitable. System beats sprint. Consistency as a lifestyle means the work continues even when motivation is absent, especially then. The core principle. Consistency is not something you try to maintain. Consistency is something you design for. Design the life, live the system. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. That's not a quote. That's a warning. Building a consistent lifestyle step by step. Step 1. Define non-negotiables. Pick 3 daily actions that define your identity and future. 3, not 10. These are your anchors. When everything else breaks, these remain. Examples. Write 300 words. Train for 20 minutes. Ship 1 small output. These are not ambitions. They are rules. Step 2. Fix the time, not the mood. Mood-based work fails. Time-based work survives. Set fixed windows, same time, same place, same order. You remove choice. Choice drains energy. Ritual saves it. Do the ritual, skip the motivation. Step 3. Design for low-energy days. This is critical. Ask yourself, what does consistency look like on my worst day? Then design for that. Your system must work when you are tired, when you are bored, when you are uninspired, when you are busy. If your system only works on good days, it's not a system, it's a fantasy. Step 4. Build recovery into the system. Lifestyles include rest. Campaigns ignore it. Schedule rest days, light days, maintenance days. Recovery is not weakness, it is sustainability. Sustainable systems win decades, sprints win weekends. It's not about intensity, it's about longevity. Step 5. Track with minimal friction. Tracking keeps systems honest, but over-tracking kills compliance. One metric for each habit, one daily check, one weekly review. Count it, record it, celebrate it. Step 6. Remove reliance on willpower. Willpower is unreliable, environment is not. Prepare tools in advance. Reduce setup time. Block distractions by default. Make the right action the easy action. Design beats discipline every time. Common failures and fixes. Failure. I fall off when life gets busy. Fix. Shrink the habit. Busy seasons require smaller reps, not abandonment. Failure. I lose consistency after success. Fix. Success requires tighter systems, not looser ones. Growth increases chaos. Systems absorb it. Failure. I get bored. Boredom is proof the system is working. Novelty is not required for progress. Repetition is. Say it again. System beats sprint. Language that locks it in. Replace this, I'm trying to stay consistent, with this is how I live. Identity follows structure. When the system runs long enough, consistency stops feeling like effort. It feels normal. That's when you win. You have a choice. Live in cycles of excitement and collapse, or live in a rhythm that compounds quietly. That's the key. The lifetime frame. Think in decades, not days. Think in systems, not goals. Think in identity, not outcomes. A lifestyle does not end after a win. It absorbs the win and keeps going. That is how people stay sharp at 40, dangerous at 50, and legendary at 60. Final design exercise. Do this now. Take a page and write this at the top. My consistency system. Now answer these 5 questions honestly. What are my 3 non-negotiable daily actions? When and where do they happen every day? What is the smallest version I will do on bad days? What distractions must be removed to protect this system? How will I review and adjust weekly? Write it. Don't think about it. Write it. You don't need their permission to design your life. You don't need motivation to follow a system. You need clarity and structure. This audiobook was never about hype. It was about showing up, again and again and again. You stopped proving. You showed up tired. You made boring your superpower. You chose rituals over motivation. You learned fast. You guarded your hours. You counted small wins. You protected the streak. You rewired identity through action. Now you lock it in. Consistency is no longer a phase. It is no longer a challenge. It is who you are. Design the life, live the system. This is the year you finally showed up, and this time you're not leaving. This is the blueprint. The argument is simple. Talent is noisy. Consistency is quiet and undefeated. You know the work you avoid. You know the ritual you skip. Right now, decide. Will you prove you can start, or will you prove you can last? The first 30 days will feel small. The first year will feel seismic. Show up when no one watches. Guard the hours. Count the wins. Ship ugly. Fix fast. Repeat daily until there is no part of your life that is exempt from this rule. From tomorrow, do the one thing you've been avoiding for 7 straight days.
If you want more guided chapters turned into workbooks and daily prompts, hit like, subscribe to Mindshift Audiobooks, and turn the bell on. Now go, show up, stay, transform.